Hello everyone, welcome to 3ddesign.com. In this lesson, we'll continue with part 240 of the Mercedes-Benz E-Class Coupe project. Okay, so in the previous lesson, I spent some time essentially adding fillets between these surfaces so that they are actually a curvature. So let's just make everything visible over here, and I'm going to go ahead and evaluate some of these surfaces over here because they do need to be redone. As you can see, well, they're not exactly lined up, and also I am going to make a little bit of modification on these surfaces over here because I do think they need to be angled a little bit. Because if you look at this surface over here, I do think that this actually goes in a little bit, and this one also goes in, and I also need to redo these ones over here. So let's just go ahead and do them one by one. All right, so I think what I'm going to do first is this piece over here. So what I'm going, yeah, let's go ahead and take care of those first. Now, yeah, I definitely do think that they're angled. So let's do this. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to, well, I wonder what the best way to do this is. Okay, so let's do this. I'm just going to offset it a little bit, maybe about 0.5 mil. And I'm going to make sure that it's NUV. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to essentially use this in order to create the flange, or not the flange, but this little flat over here. So let's just go ahead and do a freeform blend. It's going to position on both sides. I'm going to strike this one. I'm going to strike the bottom edge over here. And that is what I'm going to use in order to create that. And let's just take a look. Now that's our, I don't know why it's skewed, CV structure is skewed like that. So let me see if I can just do Bezier. That's better. Okay, so that's good. And let's go ahead and do the same thing on the top also. So I'm going to do a freeform blend again. I'm just going to snap it over here and here. Like this. Bezier is on, and that looks pretty good. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to hide this one and just take a look if the angle is enough. Now, because it is a little bit angled inward, yeah, I think that's not too bad. But I do need to check it again for this one, so let's go ahead and do that too. Now, I don't think I need this flange or this construction plane, so I think I'm just going to get rid of it. Like that, and let's go ahead and offset this about 0.5 mil too. Now, depending on the situation, I may offset it a little bit more, but let's just do this for now. Okay, so same thing. I'm just going to snap to the outboard side like this, and the inboard side. And this time, however, I'm just going to make it default over here. Do the same thing over here. I'm going to do that. It's default on both sides. Okay, so let's take a look. I think the angle is pretty good. However, for some reason, I feel like this one is a little bit thinner compared to this one. So I'm not sure why. Well, let's just take a look. All right, so I'm just going to hide that one over here. Let's see, make it invisible. And what is this one? Oh, that's a flat that was used to make some of the surfaces over here. So just in case I need it, I'm going to just hide it over here like this. Now it does appear a little bit thinner over here, but well, I'm just going to retain the perimeter. You know what? Maybe I'll go a little bit thinner. Just a little bit. So instead of 2 mils there, now I thought I matched the proportions well, but looks like I might have not. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make it a little bit thinner, but I'm just going to check the thickness first. So I think the offset over here is pretty good. Let's just hide this one over here. I think it's just a matter of making it a little bit thinner on the top and the bottom. So maybe I'll reduce it by about 0.5 mil. So let's just go ahead and do that. Now it does look like it's a little bit off, so I'll have to match that, but that's not super critical. So what I'm going to do is, let's just, well, actually, you know what? Let's just look at the angle first. I might do a little bit more, just a little bit more. So let's just go ahead and make everything visible. Now, what happened to that surface that was over here? Oh, there it is. Okay, so I'm just going to grab that one. And let's just do 1 mil like that. And of course, history is going to automatically update on those and do the same thing over here. So I'm just going to do a 1 mil offset. I'm going to grab this one. I'm going to grab this one and just make it invisible for now. Yeah, I think adding 1 mil offset is a little bit better. However, I still think that it should be a little bit thinner. So I'm going to go ahead and just extend it back by about ½ mil. So negative 0.5 like that. And let's just hide this one over here. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. Do the same thing over here as well. Negative 0.5. Over here. And here as well. Okay, so that looks a little bit thinner. I think that's a little bit more appropriate. Yeah, I think that looks, yeah, I think that's much better. So basically the width increased by 1. I think that's good. All right, now that's however, I do need to make sure that all of these edges match. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So in order to do so, let's see. I think, oh, and I do need to do this again, so that will be next, but let's just match these over here. So in order to make it a little bit easy, well, actually, you know what? Let's see, I'm just going to, I wonder what the best way to do this would be. Oh, okay, I did get rid of the construction plane, but well, it's easy to get it back. So I'm just going to go over here, construction plane, and I'm just going to say 3 point. I'm going to pick here, and pick here. So I'm going to say construction plane, and I'm just going to go to the top view using F5. Oh, looks like I need, okay, so let's just snap it to the bottom. And what I can do is I can just offset this one. I'm going to say offset about ½ mil, 0.5 NUV like this, and I should be able to snap that like that. So let me just put it over here like this, and you should be pretty close. If it's not exactly the same, that's fine. I don't think it's a deal breaker over here. So I'm going to just use that to do that. But before that though, I'm just going to delete the construction plane over here and go back to this view, go back to the original perspective view. I think that's good. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set this as the main reference, because it does have to align over there at the bottom. And I'm going to just modify these ones over here. So let's just go to the top view like this. And what I'm going to do, well, first of all, I'm just going to hide all these. Now this one I'm going to delete. This one I'm going to go ahead and just say hide. This one, yeah, I think I can just delete that one. This one on the other hand, I am going to keep it just in case I need it. All right, so that's good. And now I did duplicate this curve over here. So I'm just going to use that to snap it like this. So snap it over here. I'm just going to say align. It's going to positional. Just going to do that. And I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom one. Why do I feel like it flipped? I think it did. Okay, go to the front view like this. I'm just going to duplicate this edge, snap it over here. I'm just going to use align, snap it like that, push your influence to the max, and that's going to make it, well, basically perfect alignment for the theoreticals. That should be good. The curves are no longer needed, so I'm just going to go ahead and delete that, and that should be good for that. And let's just go ahead and align this one as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and align in tangent. Actually, before I do that, this one is a little bit off for some reason. So let me do this. I'm going to go ahead and use stretch tool to snap it over here. And I'm just going to align tangent like this. And let's see how much it moved by. Proxy display. Okay, so because of this one moved, I don't think I can get a perfect half circle over here, just because I think these are actually a slightly different plane. I think that's probably due to the extension. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a blending, but it's going to be just blend factor on 1. I think 1 CV should be enough. Just make it gradual. Do the same thing over here. I think that's good. Make sure that that's tangent, and I think that's good. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a skim between these two like this, and that's good. That should be good over here. Now that's it. However, oh, okay, so it looks like that needs a little bit of alignment. So what I'm going to do is, of course, I also need to align these ones over here. So I think as far as the shape goes, I think it's pretty good. Yeah, I think it's pretty representative. Although I think it's a little bit wider than the picture, but it could also be just this one. Maybe not necessarily that one. But I would say at this point, let's just go ahead and move on. Okay, so delete the construction history over here, and let's just snap these. So I'm going to snap a curve from here to here like this, and I'm just going to attach here. Oh, this one I'm going to proportion. Let's do this. This one I'm just going to do an insert. I'm going to snap it over here so that it's a sort of radial in shape, and I'm going to do the same thing over here. Of course, this one does is probably going to need thickness, so I'll do that. But that I'm going to do that later because that's more of a detail more than anything. So I'm just going to snap a curve like this. I'm going to snap it over here, and I'm going to do an insert like this. I'm just going to snap it over here like that. Okay, so that's nice and radial. I'm going to trim this one. I don't think I have actually projected it. So project over there and here. Let's get rid of the curve. And now let's go in and do a bi-rail. So bi-rail over here. Same thing over here. Like this. And let's just go ahead and align. It's going to be G2, blending off, edge. Same thing. Edge. Edge there. And edge here. Okay, so I think that's good. Just to make everything curvature. All right, so that looks good. So now, before I do anything, I think it is time to update this one. So let's go ahead and do that too. Now, that said, as far as the angle goes, I should probably offset it like how I offset the other surfaces. So let's go ahead and get the surface back out. Well, good thing I saved it. So I'm just going to, I'm just going to copy and paste it so that I don't lose the original. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, oh, actually, you know what? I can't quite remember what the offset value of this was. So let me just go ahead and check that. Actually, you know what? I don't think I'm going to go super anal on this one. And I'll just rough it with the eye. However, this one probably does need to follow the draft angle, so I'll do that too. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to eyeball it. So first of all, let me just delete this one like that. And I'm just going to snap a curve over here. I'm just going to make it somewhat similar in thickness to this one. As long as the edges match, it should be good. So I'm just going to do that over here. So I think the thickness between these two is pretty consistent. Actually, you know what? I take that back. I think this, at least from the perspective view, probably need to do something like that. Yeah, I think I'm just going to keep it that way. Because if not, I think it becomes a little bit too thin as it goes to the outward side. Especially if you look at this perspective view, I think it appears actually a little bit thicker. So let's just go ahead and do that. So I'm just going to make it a... Well, basically I'm going to follow the perspective view on this one. Okay, so maybe a little bit more, something like that. And of course, for this one, I'm just going to draft it. So let's go ahead. Actually, you know what? Let me just trim this one first. So this one, here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to strike it straight down. And if I project it normal, it should give me somewhat of a decent angle, I think. So now I can just trim that one, delete this one. I'm just going to do a rail over here. And that should work. Oh, actually, you know what? Before I do that, I think I should probably match this one over here. So this one, I'm going to go ahead and just delete because I don't think I really need that anymore. Now, as far as this one goes, it did go over here. I think I'm going to try to match that. So let's do this. I'm going to say undo. Or you can just grab it from the previous one, that's fine. I'm just going to trim this one and I'm going to just do a rail from here using this outside edge like this. So now let's just go ahead and trim this one or get rid of that. And I'm going to just use this edge essentially in order to create these. So let me just duplicate the top edge over here. This one I can just hide it and pull it back out later. So now what I can do is I'm going to just delete this one and did I not pick that edge? Oh, I don't think I did. Okay, so I'm just going to duplicate the edge like this. That one, let's go ahead and hide. And now I'm just going to do a rail over here and do a rail over here. Oh, that said, I think this actually needs to come to a point. So let me... I should make sure that they are on the same plane on the other side. So let me offset this. Well, let's check the depth. I'm just going to say, pick this one. Okay, so it's about 0.7758. Okay, so there is a little bit of discrepancy. It's not, to be honest, bad. However, let's just match it. So what I'm going to do, so I'm just going to offset it so that it fits over here, and basically I'm going to use that in order to match those so that it's just sitting on nicely on a plane. So let's just go ahead and offset this 0.7758, I think it was. Yes, I think that's on the spot. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use this in order to snap this one and that one. So I'm just going to go ahead and align. It's going to put position, but I'm just going to use project over here. But of course, I think it's a little bit short over here, which is fine. So let's just go ahead and extend this back a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and align like this. And so, and I'm just going to make sure that this one actually matches too. So I'm going to align that one. Let's make it a little bit shorter. Say align over here like that. And now I'm just going to make sure that this one matches. So let's just go ahead and align this one. It's going to edge over here, positional. And I'm just going to do a little bit of blending. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that it blends in nicely with that. Okay, do the same thing over here. I'm going to grab this edge like that. And let's just make sure. Yep, that looks good. So I'll do that. Okay, so this plane over here. Oh, actually, that's part of the high layer, so that's good. All right, so that's good there. So I'm just going to delete the construction history on that one, and I'm going to again hide that one. And let's just go ahead and do a rail on this side. So that one's done. And it's just going to, well, this is going to go over here. I think it's supposed to, well, do some kind of feature over here. So I'll be doing that next, but for now, I think this is good. And well, this is going to be a little bit tricky. I'll have to figure out how that the surface interface is going to go over there. But let's do that a little bit later. Okay, as far as the draft surface goes, let's go ahead and match it. So I'm just going to draw a draft. It's going to be, well, the length doesn't really matter, but I'm going to do a draft with degree of 3. About, and I'm just going to do that over here. Of course, it looks like it's going the other way, so let's just make sure that's going in the right direction. And I'm just going to align it over here as well. So let's just go ahead and intersect like this to extend this back over here so that it snaps precisely at the location. Yep, that's good. Now I do need, technically I do need a flat over here, but because the angle might be a little bit different, I think I'm just going to snap it. I don't think these are going to be lined up, so I think I'm just going to eyeball it and just create a 1 mil flat there. Well, it's going to be about a 1 mil. I don't think I'm going to make it super exact. So I'm just going to do that. As long as it's, I think I spent a little bit too much time with all of these surfaces over here. So for the subsequent sections, I think I'm just going to go a little bit quickly. Plus the angle, I don't think I'm able to just make a flat plane over here. So I'll just do this. Okay, but I do want to check to make sure that it's about a mil. So I'm just going to do an edge to edge measurement. That's a little bit thin. So let's just go ahead and make it a little bit thicker. A little bit, I think it was aligned to a wrong section. So let's just make it a little bit thicker. 0.98, maybe let's make it a 1 mil. There it is. I think that's good enough. All right, do the same thing over here. So I'm just going to, well, basically this is for the black section over here. So it looks like there is a slight chamfer. So let's go ahead and make that too. So this one, I don't think the angle, well, yeah, let's just keep it similar. So I'm just going to do a rail over here. Well, I think it's got a slightly less angle, so I think I'm just leaving it there is good. And I'm going to go ahead and just do a draft again on this one, like this. Now that's however, I do need to make sure whatever this aligns to is matching over here. So I'll probably take care of that a little bit later because I do have to make the corner over here and basically redo all of these surfaces over here. So I'm going to be doing that a little bit later. But for now, let's just go ahead and make sure these are okay too. So I'm just going to go ahead and extend this piece over here like this. And of course, now I'm going to follow all of these sections, although because the top one tends to be a little bit flat, I'm going to make it a little bit flat over here as well. The top side probably also needs to meet the angle requirement. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make it probably like slightly less. Well, the minimum probably is going to be about 5 or 3. So I'm just going to make it about 3 mils over here so that it actually sees the front. Well, it probably needs a little bit of peak, just not a lot. So I'm just going to set it at about, let's do a 3 mil difference or 3 degrees difference. So I'm just going to extend this one over here. I'm going to extend this one over here. I'm just going to intersect this one over here. Just extend that back. This one is going to be a minimum, so I'll just set it to 3 like this, so that it at least has a little bit of peak. Not a lot, but it should be distinguishable. Something, well, it's actually not a lot of difference, but it's better than nothing, so let's just do that. Again, I'm just going to intersect. Do that. And I need a flat over here, so let me just extend that a little bit. And I'm just going to retrim. That looks good. So let's go ahead and I'm just going to snap a curve for a 1 mil flat. So snap here, snap here. I think I want at least 1 mil. So let's just do a quick measurement from here to here. 0.85. So extend it a little bit more. That's point. Okay, so let's just go all the way to the end. Oh, maybe a little bit more. Okay, so this time I'm just going to duplicate it because I don't want to trim and untrim, or untrim and retrim. So I'm just going to stretch this one over here like this. That should be a mil right there. Okay, so that's good. However, this one does have multi-span, so like right here. So I'm just going to extend it back, and that should get rid of, as you can see over here, reduce the span count. So right now, it's a 2 spans because right now there's one going through here. But it's just, if I extend this over here like that, that should take care of it. And for this final flat over here, actually, you know what? That's a chamfer. So I'm going to do another 6 degrees. Like that. Now it is crashing into this one, but I think I'm probably going to change this one because I think it's I'm gonna have to change a degree on that. So I'm going to leave it for now. The crash condition doesn't really concern me as of this point. So even if I leave it like that, I think it's fine. That one, delete. And let's just match this one over here. So I'm just going to extend it a little bit. I'm going to say hide unselected. Let's just go ahead and extend this one over here. Extend. There we go. And I'm just going to draft this at 3 degrees so that there's still a little bit of peak like this, and it's going to intersect nicely with this one over here like that. But this one does need to be retrimmed. There it is. So I think that's pretty good. Okay. Still a lot to do, unfortunately, but we'll continue in the next one. Okay, so that is it for part 240. We'll pick this up in the next tutorial, and thank you guys for watching. Want to learn Autodesk Alias and digital sculpting? Then become a member at 3ddesignacademy.com, where you'll find hundreds of video tutorials ranging from basics, including curve creations, intermediate level tutorials such as this wheel, all the way to Class A modeling of the entire car exterior. Interested? Visit 3ddesignacademy.com.